So shall we start? Okay. Now see the next topic, torque slip characteristics. So we know that torque is directly proportional to SE2 square R2 by R2 square SS square X2 square. Okay. So this is the torque equation, you know. Here there will be a proportionality constant K here. For simplicity, just as a K is constant, here I am removing this K. So that's why I am putting torque is directly proportional to this formula. Okay. So we know that as we load the induction motor, suppose if the induction motor is running at normal conditions. Okay. So if the for a normal running condition induction motor, if I give some load, what happens due to that load? The speed will be, sorry, here decreased, not increased. See here, for a normal running induction motor, if you increase the load, that means if you put some load on the induction motor, what happens? The speed will be decreased. So due to that load, speed will be decreased, right? So as the speed decreases, S increases. Okay. So what is the S means here? Slip. Slip means ns minus n divided by ns. Okay. So in the numerator, minus part is n. So if the minus part decreases, what happens? Slip increases, right? So what is S formula? Please go through your notebooks in previous classes. S is equal to ns minus n by ns, right? So in the numerator part, if the minus part decreases, n decreases, the slip will be going on increasing to the maximum value. What is the maximum value of slip? The maximum value of slip is 1 and minimum value is 0, right? So as speed decreases, the slip goes on increasing. Okay. So this is the normal running position of the induction motor. As we load the induction motor, speed decreases. So as the speed decreases, slip increases. Okay. So this is the first line. Next, coming to torque slip characteristics, regularly what is the formula of the torque? Torque is K S E2 square R2 by R2 square Sx2 whole square, right? So if I, as K will be constant term, if I omit K and put the proportionality constant, torque formula will be like this. Okay. So here mainly the torque depends upon slip. Okay. Slip is variable thing here, variable parameter here. So the torque will be depending upon slip. Okay. So if you take a constant voltage, the supply will be almost constant. If you take a constant voltage, here we can take E2 as constant. So what is the remaining term in this formula? Torque is directly proportional to, if you put E2 constant, SR2 by R2 square Sx2 whole square, right? Okay. So this is the final equation for us, and from this equation we have to analyze the torque slip characteristics. So from this equation we will find out the torque slip characteristics. Okay. So for simplicity, what I am taking is, Yashwant, please off your video. Okay. So due to the simplification, final torque equation is this, and for simplicity I am doing that. We are dividing that S into two parts. So S low part and S high part. Low part means nearly S is equal to 0. S will not be equal to 0 because it is having some synchronous speed. So low slip region is termed as S is equal to 0, approx, only approx. Okay. And next region is high slip region. So if you see here, of the two slides, this is the torque slip equation, torque slip characteristics. So here at starting S is equal to 0, when N is equal to Ns, N cannot be equal to Ns, but these are the only assumptions, right? So, and this is maximum slip region. S is equal to 1, this exists. S is equal to 1 exists, but S is equal to 0 does not exist. Okay, so S is equal to 1 is the high slip region, and at starting S is equal to 0 is the low slip region. Okay, so at high slip region, N will be equal to 0, S is equal to Ns by Ns, that is equal to 1. Okay, at low slip region, S is equal to 0 because N is equal to Ns. Numerator minus value will be equal to 0. Okay, and this is the maximum slip value. S is equal to Sm. At this point, we are getting maximum slip. So if you observe the diagram here, we are taking torque on the y-axis and slip on the x-axis, and we are analyzing the characteristics between the torque and the slip. Okay, so at starting, at full load, and at maximum torque. Okay, these are the different values. At starting, what will be the torque, and at full load, what will be the torque, and at maximum torque, what will be the torque at slip. Okay, so these are the OA stable region. I will explain you how we will get stable region of OA part, and AB is unstable region. This is the unstable region, and B is the starting torque. This is the starting torque point, and C is the full load torque point, and A is the maximum torque point. Okay, so these are the abbreviations regarding the torque slip characteristics. Now we will go through these characteristics. How we are getting this curve, we will go through. Okay, so see here, I am dividing the characteristics of into two parts: low slip region and high slip region. So see here, at the low slip region, you take the equation S is directly proportional to previous equation. What is that? S is directly proportional to SR2 by R2 square plus this one. Take this second equation. 1 minute, wait. Okay, so see here, this second equation, T is directly proportional to SR2 by R2 square plus SX2 whole square. So by in this equation, if you observe that denominator is R2 square plus SX2 whole square. Okay, so there is an assumption that Sx2 square, the denominator second term will be very less compared to R2. So due to that negligible value, I can neglect that term. So the torque becomes T is directly proportional to SR2 by R2 square, right? So if you cancel out the cancelled terms, the remaining term is S is directly proportional to S by R2. Okay, so from this equation, I can observe that S is directly proportional to the numerator S term. Because R2 is constant, the resistance will be constant. I can eliminate this resistance, and if I eliminate this resistance, the final term is T is directly proportional to slip. Okay, so T is directly proportional to slip means if the slip increases, torque increases, slip decreases, so torque decreases. Okay, so as long as this assumption, what is the assumption of the induction motor? See here, load, if I, for a normal running motor, if I put some load, speed will be decreased, right? And speed will be decreased, and if the speed decreases, if the rotor speed decreases, slip increases, right? Slip increases. So as the slip increases, from this equation, as the slip increases, torque will be increasing here. Okay, so the graph will be, see here the graph, as the slip increases, in the x direction, torque will be increasing. So this will be applicable up to the maximum attaining of slip. Okay, so up to maximum slip point, this will be okay, this will be satisfied. Okay, so after that we are dividing the region into low slip region. So in low slip region, what will happen, we will see. Okay, so this is high slip region. Next, sorry, this is low slip region, sorry, this is low slip region. S is equal to 0. So from 0, S is equal to 0. Okay, so low slip region this is, and what will happen in high slip region, we will see now. So see here, in the high slip region, again if you consider the equation, T is directly proportional to SR2 by R2 square plus SX2 square. So in this, as the slip is approaching to 1, and from 0 to 1, as the slip increases, R2 is very small because this term will be increasing, right? So as the slip increases, this S term will be increasing, and this S term will be predominating this R2 square term, right? So at this time, at low slip region, this will be 0. At S is equal to 0. So this term completely will be 0. So I can neglect when compared to R2 square. That's why I am neglecting in low slip region. And compared to high slip, when coming to high slip region, this S will be increasing. So this will be more value than this value. Okay, compared to R2 square value, this value will be more. So I can neglect this R2 square value. So what will be there? Remaining part, torque is directly proportional to, numerator will be as it is, SR2 by S2 square X2 square. Okay, so if you consider the rotor and reactance, these are the constant terms, means these are the value terms. Okay, so if you consider this, the remaining term will be torque is directly proportional to S by S square. So in denominator S square, S. So one S will be cancelled out in numerator and other S will be cancelled out in denominator, and remaining S will be in the denominator. So torque is directly proportional to 1 by S here. That means torque is inversely proportional to S, we can tell. Okay, so torque is inversely proportional to S there. So that from the normal assumption, what happens, load increases means speed decreases, speed decreases means slip increases, slip increases means according to this equation, at that time torque will be decreasing. Okay, so in the low slip region, as the slip increases, torque increases because torque is directly proportional to slip. But coming to the high slip region, torque is inversely proportional to S. So as the slip increases, torque decreases. Okay, so this is not the right thing for the induction motor. Though we increase the load, it has to maintain a graph. Okay, so if slip increases, torque decreases, means it is the increased load is not satisfied by the induction motor. So the induction motor, what happens, it stops rotating. Okay, so as the torque decreases here, because of increase of slip, as the torque decreases here, there will be an extra loading effect, right? So the induction motor assumes that there is some extra load on me. So what happens, the induction motor, if there is extra load, torque decreases. Torque decreases means what? Speed decreases. N decreases here. Okay, so N further decreases. As torque further decreases, torque further decreases, N will be further decreasing. So if N further decreases, slip will be increasing. And if slip increases, torque further decreases and it stops the motor. Okay, so what is the regular mechanism going on? Torque at low slip region, load increases, speed decreases and slip increases. As the slip increases in this region, torque increases, but in this high slip region, torque will be decreasing. So this further decreases the speed of the motor. So due to torque decrease, speed will be decreased abruptly. So as the speed decrease, again from this equation, the same circular rule follows. As the torque decreases, speed decreases. As the speed decreases, slip increases. As the slip increases, further torque decreases. And overall, it stops the motor. Okay. So there is a numerical change in the motor of decreasing value. So after attaining the maximum slip value, once the maximum slip is attained, the induction motor further cannot any withstand the load. Okay, so as the maximum point of the slip increases, torque will be decreasing here. Okay, as the torque decreases, speed decreases. As the speed decreases, slip increases. Again, it decreases the torque. And finally, this is the unstable region. So this is stable region. Why it is called stable region means until we increase the slip, torque increases sinusoidally, right? Linearly. And from here, unstable region comes. Okay, the unstable of the machine occurs. So here in the unstable region, motor cannot continue to rotate. At any point in the high slip region, motor cannot continue to rotate. So that's why it is called as unstable region. Okay, so these are the torque slip characteristics. This is very important question. And next characteristics and last characteristics is torque speed characteristics. Okay. So if you see that at n is equal to ns, what happens? If the rotor speed n equals to the synchronous speed ns, what happens? Motor stops rotating, right? Okay. So if n is equal to 0, then slip will be maximum. Okay, so when will be the slip maximum? At n is equal to 0, motor produces torque. This torque is called starting torque. At the time of starting, n is equal to 0. So at the time of starting, the torque produced is called as starting torque, right? So for low slip regions, suppose for low slip regions, for s is equal to 0 if you take, for s is equal to 0, low slip region, the region, this region in torque slip characteristic is, what is it? Stable region. And the characteristics, if you observe that these are the straight lines. Okay, so this is a straight line in the low slip region. Okay, so there is a fall in speed from no load to full load. Okay, if you observe this, there in the next slip region, if you observe that there is a fall in speed from no load to full load. Okay, so this fall in speed will be around 4 to 6%. Okay, so if you see the speed torque characteristics at stable region, the characteristics are same as DC shunt motor. If you observe the DC shunt motor characteristics in the stable region, so up to this is called as stable region, like this. This is almost constant. The speed is almost constant. This little bit variation is not considered as a variable one. It is a constant. Okay, because shunt motors, DC shunt motors are also having speed constant characteristics. Okay, so same induction motors are also having at the stable region speed constant. Okay, so due to this reason, We can also call the three-phase induction motor practically as a constant speed motor. Okay, so as the characteristics of the torque speed characteristics are like the DC motor characteristics, we can call this induction motor characteristics also as constant speed characteristics. Okay, so this drop in speed from no load to full load is not quite significant. Okay, so this is not considered, and this is the up to this point of maximum torque. This is the stable region, and from here we observe the unstable region. From here low slip of up to here low slip characteristics occurs, and from here high slip characteristics. At the time of high slip characteristics, as the torque dramatically reduces, here in the torque speed characteristics also we can point out that torque will be reducing and reaches to 0. Okay, so from maximum torque it is again drooping. Okay, so that is called the starting torque, and this is called the full load torque. Here torque is taken on x-axis and speed is taken on y-axis. This is the full load point. Full load load of the machine is fully. Okay, so these are the two important characteristics of the induction motor: torque slip characteristics and torque speed characteristics. And next topic is torque ratios. See here, we are having different types of torques. We are having torques, but these are of different types. Until now what we observe, different types of torque means full load torque, maximum torque, and starting torque, right? So three different types of torques we are naming. Starting torque means at the time of starting we are having some torque. This is termed as starting torque. Okay, so maximum torque means the maximum torque at what point we are getting the maximum value of the torque we are getting is maximum torque. Full load torque means if you load the machine fully, if you load the machine fully, we are getting some full load torque. Okay, so now we are going to study about the different torque ratios. What is the full load torque and maximum torque, and what is the starting torque and maximum torque ratios. Okay, so these ratios are important for our practical problems. Practically these will be some shortcuts. There will be obtaining some shortcuts from these ratios, and these shortcuts will be working as a formulas in the problems. Okay, so first torque ratio is full load torque ratio, full load torque and maximum torque ratio, TFL by TM ratios. Okay, so directly we can get a question from this as I explain the torque ratios. So either two out of two torque ratios we can be asked with any question. So see here, first one TFL by T maximum. Okay, so generally the torque formula is torque is directly proportional to, here also I am omitting K value, no use of K here, proportionality constant. So T is directly proportional to SE2 square R2 by R2 square plus SX2 whole square. Okay, so this is SF. SF means full load torque. At the full load torque, slip will be full load. At the starting torque, slip will be at starting value, right? So slip will be changing depending upon the torque. So I am naming the slip as SF, that is called as full load slip. Okay, so when we are considering torque as full load, we have to take this slip as SF. Okay, so I am rearranging the formula. TFL directly proportional to SF E2 square R2 by R2 square plus SF X2 whole square. Okay, and see here, for maximum torque, maximum slip exists. So at the time of TM, we will take SM. Again, we are rearranging the formula TM. So we are using TM. So that's why maximum slip also consider. Okay, SM E2 square R2 by R2 square SM X2 whole square. Okay. Okay, so after rearranging the two formulas, what you are getting? TF and TM. So we are finding out the ratio of TF to TM. So TF formula divided by TM formula. Right? So if you do like this, SF by SM, if you take out common SF by SM, the remaining is like this. Okay, so dividing both numerator and denominator by x2 square. In both ratios, the dividing parameter is same. Divide numerator and denominator with x2 square. So then what we get, SF SM divided by SM into R2 square by x2 square. So see here, dividing with x2 square, not x2 square. Okay. So SM x2 square, here x2 square will be cancelled out, only SM square will be remaining. Here R2 square by x2 square, again x2 square will be cancelled out, here only SF will be remaining. Okay, so SF square. So we know that we know that means we are substituting in the previous one. At the time of maximum torque, what is the condition? S is equal to R by X. Okay, so R2 by X2, SM is equal to R2 by X2. If you know that condition, if you substitute that condition, see here, if you substitute this condition in the above equation, what will you get? Here at the place of R2 by X2, I am substituting SM. Okay, so SM square you will getting. So we will see that in the next slide. See here, SF by SM common, SM square plus SM square, what becomes 2 SM square divided by SM square plus SF square. So this is the full load torque to maximum torque ratio. Okay, so 2 SF SM by SM square plus SF square. This is the ratio of full load to maximum. Okay, so always maximum torque will be taken in denominator and full load torque will be taken on the numerator. Always, if you remember one point, always maximum torque will be in the denominator. See here, in second torque equation ratio also, maximum torque is taken in denominator. Okay, so both maximum torque will be in denominator, and what torque you have to write on the numerator, full load torque or starting torque. Okay, so next we will see the starting torque and maximum torque ratio. Okay, so torque equation, actual torque equation is, or generalized torque equation is, torque is directly proportional to S E2 square R2 by R2 square plus SX2 whole square, that is XX2 whole square. Okay, so here starting torque, at the time of starting, what we know, slip is 1, because n is equal to 0. S formula is, put n is equal to 0 in S formula. What is S formula? S is equal to ns minus n by ns, right? So in that, put n is equal to 0. So what will you get? Ns by ns. So S is equal to 1. At the time of starting, S will be equal to 1. So we can rearrange this equation by putting S is equal to 1 in the torque equation. So TST, at the time of starting, we are taking starting torque. TST is directly proportional to E2 square R2 by R2 square plus X2 square. Okay, and maximum torque. For maximum torque, as usual, you are putting S is equal to SM. Okay, so rearranging this will the equation. So you want to know the ratio of starting torque to maximum torque, right? So put the starting torque formula and maximum torque formula. Starting torque by maximum torque. So what we are getting, R2 square, after rearranging and cancel outing the terms which cancel out, what you are getting, R2 square plus SMX2 square whole square divided by R2 square S2 square into SM. Okay, so again here denominator and numerator gets multiplied by dividing both the numerator and denominator by x2 square. Okay, so TXT by TM is equal to R2 square by x2 square, denominator will be and numerator will be dividing by x2 square. So R2 square by x2 square plus sm square. Here x2 square will be cancelled out and remaining sm square will be remained. And in denominator here this will be 1, x2 square by x2 square, r2 square by x2 square. So we know that sm is equal to r2 by x2. If you substitute this equation in the above equation, so 2 sm square by sm plus sm into 1 plus sm square. Okay, so sm get cancelled. The remaining term is 2 sm by 1 plus sm square. So this is the starting torque to maximum torque ratio. This is the full load, 2 sf sm by sm square plus sf square. Okay, so here I can put, for simplification again, I can put a is equal to r2 by x2. Nothing but sm is equal to a, alphabet a, small a. Okay, so if I put that assumption, r2 by x2 is equal to a, that is equal to sm. So these are the more simplified equations. Tf by tm is equal to 2a sf by a square sf square. Sf is full load slip. A is maximum slip. Okay, so here a is a, r2 by x2 sm, and simplified starting torque to maximum torque ratio will be 2a by 1 plus a square. Okay, so these will be, these two formulas, final load formulas will be used in problems. I will in further classes I will explain you the problems also in this model. Okay, so as usual, when coming to the losses in induction motor, so what are the different types of losses in the motor? As usual, here also in induction motor also same losses exist. Okay, so we know the three different types of losses. Briefly I am explaining you without slide, just listen. So what are the losses in induction motor? So okay, first tell me what are the losses in motor. Copper loss, iron loss. Iron loss are also called as core losses. Core losses are also called as magnetic loss. So what is the second type of loss? Iron loss, core loss or magnetic loss. Okay, these three are equal. Okay, so first one is copper loss, second one is iron loss, and third one is mechanical losses. Okay, so same formulas will be considered here also. But if you take here, rotor copper loss is only the different one. So actually, when you take the copper losses will be present both in stator and rotor, right? Copper is present in both stator and rotor. Okay, so losses will be present in both stator and rotor also. So these losses will be changing with respect to load, right? Compulsory, these losses will be changing with respect to load. So generally stator losses when combined with stator copper losses, stator iron losses when combined with stator iron copper loss, we are getting total stator losses, right? At particular load, if you take to one load, if I combined stator iron loss plus stator copper loss, we will get the total stator losses. Okay, and coming to the rotor losses, rotor copper loss is equal to 3I2 square R R2. At the time of running conditions, you have to take the rotor copper loss. So for current, I am putting I2R. I2R, I2 means rotor copper loss. R means rotor copper loss at the time of running. Okay, so 3I2 square, I2R square, R2. Actually, for induction motor, as it is a single, it is observed that the copper loss is I2 square R2, right? Or simply I square R. But here the abbreviations will be changing. Okay, so I2R means here rotor current per phase at the particular load at the time of running. R2 means resistance of the rotor. Okay, so next, power stages. These are the various types, various stages in the induction motor. Power stages. This power stages will be discussed in further classes with brief explanations. So first, if you take the input of the stator and we are getting the output at the rotor. Okay, so this output at the rotor is called as BHP.